So, here it is January, and I have been prompted from chat to include proof of life of my pepper Fred here. He's still alive and he's being a little, he's being a little extra, if you know what I mean. He's being a bit extra. He's got a little bit of stuff going on. I've already pinched the leaves back a couple of times because I don't want it trying to support extra matter on here, but it is proof that it did survive. 'Tis still alive. And also, I have got 3 other peppers in there that still have a little bit of leaves on them, and they seem to be alive, but as another progression, I finally have a tiny bit of growth. Tiny. On my fig. I think we're going to call it Fran. This is Fran the fig, and it is actually sprouting. You can't really tell it, but right over here in the corner, there's actually a little bit more growth, which means it did actually root. I was very, very worried that I completely messed these up because at the time whenever I was doing these plantings, I put them in the makeshift greenhouse that eventually collapsed during the first storm. My worry is I didn't get them out of there fast enough to save them, but apparently I did. They are still alive. Thank goodness I will actually have one of my figs for next year. So I have a video for January. We have a little bit of a harvest and we've got a couple of things that are going on. There's not a whole lot of audio to it because even though I have this brand new camera that's got this brand new sound system, it doesn't do you any good if you don't turn it on. I did not turn on the microphone. So none of it has audio. None of it, which means it's time for a voiceover. 'Twas the day before Christmas when all through the yard, Bam and I were chasing our greenhouse. Actually, what we were really doing was attempting to put the greenhouse together. The instructions were semi-sort of clear, and by semi-sort of clear, I mean it was very complicated. Lots of pages of instructions, and some parts of it were kind of sort of left out on the diagrams, but they were kind of explained. And by that, I mean they were kind of vaguely explained. It was a hard project. It took us an entire day to put this thing together. And by the time I was done with it, it felt like I had done 500 squats because there was so much small pieces that had to be put together, and then those small pieces built on the other pieces. And even more complicated, those pieces had to be taken apart to add in other pieces later on. So the entire build was kind of very intricate. But it did finally go together, and it did try to run away, but after having been caught, we put it where it belongs, and right now it is storing some farm plots waiting for me to be able to go ahead and plant in the springtime. They're just storing in there until I get some soil to come in. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go out here and we're going to pull some carrots, and I'm going to make some dinner with those for tonight, but I can tell you these carrots turn out positively lovely. Very, very sweet. I think from now on I will probably be planting carrots out during the winter time because it seems to be like the time when I don't have to worry about these plants stressing out. And I will likely leave some of these inside this old garden area to completely go to seed so I can get more seed for next fall. I think I will probably skip a spring planting of carrots just because I want to save seeds so I can keep the old carrots to save seeds for that. But also I hear that whenever your carrots and stuff go through the frost and the cold season, they actually taste sweeter, and I think I would prefer my carrots to be that way. So I think next year I will be planning out to hopefully have carrot seeds for that. Next, I am going to have to focus on the other two beds, which have currently got some rather odd things in there. Like odd as in I don't know what I planted because none of the stuff sprouted, and then I went back and replanted with I don't know what. So after playing around inside the bed and doing a bit of cleaning up because there was a lot of low-laying leaves and stuff that needed to be cleaned up because there was too much moisture sitting inside the dirt, which was allowing a lot of like mold to sit on some of the plants, and it was attracting ants, and of course the ants were backpacking aphids into it. So I went ahead and pulled the Napa cabbages. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't necessarily impressed with the texture or flavor of a Napa cabbage. Now, of course, I didn't try any ferments. I have already ordered and will be trying out some ferments, so I might, maybe, possibly. So a couple for next year just so I can give them a try, but I didn't necessarily like the cabbages, so all 3 heads that I wind up pulling, I gift to a friend, and we're just not going to worry about those. But there are 2 plants sitting over here that I can tell are actually Brussels sprouts, so those guys survived. And that's actually shocking, which means maybe one of them is a cauliflower. Possibly. I think it's a little too late for cauliflowers because they're probably going to go through a frost and therefore turn out mushy, so I don't think we're going to get any cauliflower. But maybe we'll get some Brussels sprouts, and I do have one broccoli that's actually producing the tiniest of heads. But hey, it is a start, and I do know that I can grow these for next year, which is basically what this entire garden was supposed to be about for this year, was to see whether or not in my climate I could grow these things, and now I know I can. The goal for next year is to start them indoors a whole lot sooner so they have a chance to produce more. And next, we're going to be going out here checking on a couple of the other beds that are kind of, I don't know if you would really say they're producing. There is some kale and they are producing, and there is a radish that is, I don't even know what's going on with this radish. To be fair, it's just monstrous, and apparently the ants have claimed it, so it's time to pull it. That is the whole entire garden for right now. I will say that I have got my beds for the upcoming year. It's time to get started on those, and I need to start ordering plants, so I will be bringing you guys along with that ride. I don't have the microphone on for this entire thing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for January. Not a whole lot going on this month, but pretty soon we're going to start our seeds off for the next growing season. I am so excited. I will see you guys then. You have a wonderful day, wonderful night, and you stay shiny. Bye! Say bye, Frank. I told you. Just being a little bit extra.